Welcome to Too Deep, Hokies Under the Influence. And it is Virginia Tech. This isn't some rinky-dink-ass program.
Come on, JC.
We're going to put this old guy in the grade. We'll go over some of the stats for the Bears. It's the percent. 11.
It's an 11 game.
Welcome to Too Deep, Hokies Under the Influence, a Sons of Saturday podcast brought to you by Jack and Coke. You can see that can right on your screen. I'm your host, Pete B. I'm here with my co-host, Sam Jesse. And when we're at season preview time, which is tonight, this is our season preview, it means a new season of Too Deep has started. Because 11 years ago, Robbie and I did our first season preview. That was 2015, and this is the 11th one. And it's the first one without Robbie.
Well, Robbie's not gone forever. He's still with us.
I texted him today. He wished
he's alive.
He wished us good luck.
And dude, I first off, honored. Shout out to you. Like, that's an accomplishment. This is my year 2 of Too Deep, and I'm very, very excited to be on it for another full season. And dude, let's kick this thing off. We got a lot to get to tonight.
We do have a lot to get to. Is that your cheers, or give us a cheers?
I mean, yeah, year 11 officially starts tonight on a Thursday night. Cheers.
Cheers.
And I'll also give another cheers to the t-shirts that just got made.
Cheers. I'll do another sip for that. Cheers.
Oh, that's a cold one. Yeah, so I got the shirt, the Bird Brawl. That's nice. It blew away my expectations, and it
looks like a good fit.
Glory Days in Charlotte, they do a great job here. I'll stand up so you can see.
Oh yeah, that's good.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, they did an amazing job. Great artwork. They look sick, super comfortable. I will be rocking it at Park Tavern in Atlanta next Saturday night.
Yes, if you don't have tickets, please do that. That's our event on the day before the game and the day of the game. We're meeting in the beer garden. Talked about it a million times. Not going to bore our listeners too much with that. Tonight, we're going to go over preseason projections for the Hokies, the schedule, the position groups, some of our predictions, maybe a hot take or two. And tonight's more of a high-level thing, Sam, because a lot of people might be tuning in that haven't listened to us all summer, and they just want to get the lay of the land before the season. But for all of you who have been here over the summer watching us run our mouths and, wring our hands about what's going to happen with the Hokies, we appreciate all of you. It is awesome. And here's something fun you can do to participate this year. The Too Deep Pick'em is back. That's right. It's on ESPN. It's the link is on our X. It's on our Instagram in the bio. So sign up for the 2D Pick'em. It's free, and if you win, there is a prize pack coming to you, and maybe even a mini kind of trophy favor. It's usually a can of something or a bottle of something is the trophy. But sign up for the 2D Pick'em. College Football Monday debuts this upcoming Monday. We will be covering Week 0, and we will be previewing some of Week 1. That's Monday, 8 o'clock. That's the start time that we're going to go with for right now, this Monday. And then our merch is available at swvashop.com. You can find it there. This weekend, Sam and I are going to be watching Week 0 in New York City at the Pig and Whistle in Manhattan, 202 West 36th Street, I believe. And it's going to be awesome. Little Irish pub action to watch the game. I cannot wait.
I can't wait. I'll be wearing my Ireland soccer jersey, which was actually the jersey that I was wearing on the live stream for Ohio State Notre Dame. So that'll be back-to-back college football games where I'm rocking the Ireland soccer jersey.
I love it. Yeah. So if you're around, please join us at the Pig and Whistle. Now, I think there are 2 locations, but we're at the main one, not the public house. The original Pig and Whistle, 202 West 36th Street. The address is on Instagram. It's on our X. You can find it. And make sure finally to like and subscribe. I promise that's the end of our announcements. Maybe a couple ad reads later, but that's it for now. Sam, why don't you get to the camp notes before we get into some of the storylines and schedule and rankings?
Well, let's start negative, and then we'll move positive on camp. And it's not super negative, but injuries this time of year, they come up a lot. So let's start. There are 6 kind of meaningful ones that we want to cover. First and foremost, Cam Seldon, transfer wide receiver from Tennessee. He's going to be a very big part of this offense. He was day-to-day for a little bit, but he was full go today at practice and plans to be full go again tomorrow when the media has availability on Friday. So Cam Seldon, thumbs up, good to go. Takai Heath, the, backup slot receiver. We've heard a lot of good things about him. He's day to day. Terrion Stewart, this is maybe the big one, transfer running back from Bowling Green. He has a lot of hype around him. Very, very talented player. He is currently day to day in and out of a walking boot, in and out of work. First off, they put everybody in a walking boot. You stub your toe, you get a walking boot. They're not too worried about the longevity of his injury, but they do feel like he is now a step behind Marcellus Hawkins in the running back room, who we will talk about momentarily. So Terry Stewart, I think you can put him as day to day. Chance Wiggins, wide receiver, he's going to be out a little bit longer. Think about a couple weeks. He's doubtful for week 1. I would assume he's also doubtful for week 2 with the quick turnaround. I would not expect to see him in a meaningful role maybe until like Wofford or something. It sounds like he has a little bit longer of an injury. Brody Adams, his counterpart wide receiver, he is day-to-day as well, but looks like he's trending upward. He had an offseason injury and has been continuously trending in the right direction from that. And then offensive lineman Brody Meadows, who looks to be an important depth piece at minimum on that offensive line. He's apparently in good shape. Another guy who's been rocking the Air Force boot. He hasn't gotten a ton of work this summer or this fall camp, whatever, August, whatever they call it.
He's been in a boot a bunch of camps.
He's been rocking the boots, but in good shape, on track to play. So we'll see. We haven't been privy to all of practice. We've been in some very boring individual on-air drills, not a lot of competitive stuff. So during that time is when a lot of those guys will maybe, okay, you sit out a few reps and go get some PT done on your ankle and go get stretched out, go hit the tub, something like that. So take everything with a grain of salt at this time of the year.
Yeah, and there's going to be nicks and bruises and that kind of thing.
It's football, man.
A week and a half before the season. And we're knocking on wood because, we haven't heard anything too devastating to this point. And it's season preview time, so that's good. And we're going to hope it stays that way. Let's get into the 2025 preseason ranks for the Hokies. In the AP poll, no Hokies in there. No receiving votes this time around, which is fine. We had Clemson at number 4, Miami at number 10, and SMU at number 16 from the ACC. Louisville and Georgia Tech just outside the poll, which is important because we play those two teams. In the ACC preseason media poll, the one they do after the kickoff, we had one first place vote, Sam. Someone voted for the Hokies to win the ACC.
I don't think it was a Tech beat writer. I think it was somebody else. Do you think they maybe messed up? Or
it's not as if they could have mistaken it for Virginia because no one's picking them to win it either. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where the mistake could have happened. I feel like that has to be on purpose. But whoever you are, respect. But we did finish 11th in the preseason ACC media poll. In the Massey composite, 44th overall in the country. Massey compiles every computer ranking there is, and we came out 44th in that. FPI 31, which is down from 26 over the summer. And that's the highest pretty much of any ranking anywhere was the FPI. Has us 4th in the ACC. I save your feelings on the FPI, Sam, but that's what it is. Athlon 55, Lindy's 50, SP Plus, a nice little 42 there, not too shabby. And the number 54th ranked strength of schedule according to the SP Plus. Returning production number 65. What did you have in your returning production metric?
For the Hokies, let me scroll over to that tab, and then we go to sort by returning production.
Sam has all of this plugged into his personal program rankings, which go ahead.
75
in returning production. Yeah, I mean it's not. We know we lost a ton.
And in returning production, not all returning production are created equal. Sometimes you want a little bit of roster turnover. Sometimes you want to keep guys. You try to adjust for that when you're doing these projections, but it's almost impossible to do that correctly for every single team. I think the Hokies got some turnover where they needed turnover. I think it's going to suck losing guys like APR, Jalen Lane, etc.
Do you know where we finished in the SP Plus last year, Sam? After the Minnesota game, where we finished?
I think it was 38 or something like that.
It was 30th. This is what I have written down here. I will double check that, and maybe you could double check that as well.
I think you're right. It was high.
It was high. It was high all year long. We were flirting with top 25 SP Plus just about all season. And for a 6-7 team to finish 30th in SP Plus. And if you know anything about the SP Plus, it means we didn't win enough games. It means we were better than that record, and it just didn't play out in the field. And watching the Hokies, that's pretty much the way it felt, is that we were good enough to win more games.
Yeah, and I got a question on Twitter today about when I messed around with the little win total model and had the Hokies at like 7.2 wins or something. People ask me, is like, every projection I'm seeing has the Hokies finishing over 6.5. And I said, well, you look at the metrics from last year, like they should have won 8 or 9 games.
Mm-hmm.
And these betting models see that. And so something interesting to keep in mind.
All right, the biggest storylines for 2025. And I will start with the overhauled roster and staff. 30 portal transfers, 4 new coaches. That is a lot of change, not to mention the incoming freshmen. It's like 50 new guys on the roster, Sam. That's a big storyline.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of we knew this year was going to have a lot of roster turnover simply because of graduation, guys running out of eligibility, but they had 30 transfers out, they had 30 transfers in, and then they brought in 20 high school guys. Like, that's kind of what college football is becoming at this point. And
a lot of teams are doing that.
Yeah, a lot of teams are doing, like, big programs are doing that. Oklahoma State has like 74 new scholarship players this year or something. It's wild. And I'm just sad that I don't even think you could memorize all these guys' names.
What do you think is another big storyline going into the season?
So my 2 biggest storylines going into the season, I phrase them as questions. First question is, have Brent Pry and Kyron Drones improved enough to take the next step? Because I think those 2 are very much in lockstep with each other. Brent Pry needs to get better at in-game management. Kyron Drones needs to get better at playing quarterback, right? I mean, you can always get better at everything. Those 2 guys need to take a step up because this roster isn't better than last year. What we're counting on is a healthy, improved Kyron Drones and a Brent Pry that's a better football coach. So that's that one. And then my second one kind of proves off of that, but was it really coaching last year? Was coaching really the problem last year? Because you've overhauled a lot of your major coaching staff this year. 2 new coordinators, a new offensive line coach. This is the time you figure all that out.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 big storyline questions heading into this season.
And they link into what I have left. And one of them is, will Kyron Drones bounce back under Montgomery specifically, the new offensive coordinator, to be what Kyron, his full potential? We want Monty to bring out the full potential in Kyron. And then on the other side, new defensive coordinator and what that does for the defense. And so I would be remiss if I didn't mention what has been a huge offseason storyline, which is, will we be able to get over the hump in close games? Because that is what everyone has talked about. It's what Mark Packer was talking with us about. It's what Colby asked Coach Pry first question at ACC kickoff. What's going on with the close game losses? You're 1-12 in 1-score games, coach, in 3 years. How do we get over the hump? And will the changes we made help to kind of do that?
Let's hope so, because it looks like a lot of close games when we get to this schedule.
All right, let's pop the schedule on the screen. And I have the rankings from the SP Plus of the teams we play. But I want to ask you first, Sam, what jumps out to you when you look at this schedule initially?
Those 2 home games in November against 2 of the best teams you're going to play all year, in Louisville on November 1st and Miami on November 22nd. I think those are the 2 biggest opportunity home games of the Brent Pry tenure so far. And, one of them is a very talented, winning football program in Louisville, and the other one's one of your big-time rivals. And I just think those are 2 such monumentous, I'm running out of adjectives for them. Like, they're
momentous, monumental, all of the above.
All of them. Like, those are the type of games that you can propel your program forward. And Tech just hasn't had one of those wins in quite some time. And when we have thought that they did have those wins, those teams turned out to be not so good towards the end of the year. So, like, those are your opportunities. I'm pretty sure both of those teams are going to be top 25 at that point in the season.
I would think.
That's a big opportunity for your team.
Yeah, and when I look at how the rankings, at least in the SP Plus or Athlon or whatever it is, shake out, most people have said this is a very manageable schedule. And it is. There are some big games, as you just said, but it is a manageable slate on the whole. If you look at the SP Plus, there are 4 teams on the schedule that are ranked in the 70s or worse. And one of them is Wofford. But, we've got ODU on there. UVA is not supposed to be particularly good this year. And Wake is not supposed to be particularly good this year. And so those should be 4 wins. I'm using should. And then Cal on Friday night, another team that, although was inside the top 70 on SP Plus, even Bill Connolly himself said maybe they shouldn't be, because SP Plus can't account for all of the stuff that's gone on there.
It can't account for like a coup of their football program by the NIL officials. No. I have Virginia Tech's schedule in my model as the 53rd toughest in the country of all teams.
And for a Power 4 team, that's an easy schedule.
They basically have a Big 12 schedule, minus the chaos of the Big 12.
Because we don't play Clemson. We didn't draw Clemson, and we didn't draw. Well, I guess we didn't draw SMU.
Didn't draw SMU. Didn't draw Clemson. So I think this is a manageable schedule. I see a lot of opportunities on this schedule. I see a lot of games that are going to be pretty close, though. I mean, I would not be surprised if 6 of these games are 1-score games, Pete.
We know what South Carolina, what that's going to be like. Big game. Miami, Louisville, we talked about that. But the games in the middle, like that is where we're going to butter our bread. And it's where we failed last year. But it's Florida State, it's Georgia Tech, it's NC State, and it's Vandy. Those 4 games are all like, if you look at the metrics, if you look at the advanced stuff, if you look at SP, we're right there within like 6 spots of any of those teams. And so do we go 3-1? Do we go 2-2? Do we go 0-4? Are they 1-score game? That's what is going to tell the tale of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, like I've said it since the spring, I think that game at NC State between Brent Pry and Dave Doran is a virtual winner stays, loser goes home game. Like that's the type of program you're measuring yourself against in the ACC at this moment, whether you want to or not. That's it. Mm-hmm. You have to win that game on the road against NC State. You've continually lost close games to NC State the last few years. You got to be able to win that one, because if you do win that game, like this is why that Louisville game is so big. If you're able to go to Raleigh and win that game, and then you handle Wake Forest and Cal at home, even if you lose to Georgia Tech, you have an opportunity to go to, what would that be, 4-1 in the ACC if you're able to handle Louisville at home. And then after that, you have 2 teams in Florida State and UVA who are probably going to be at the bottom half of the ACC. So you're starting to see a path here.
Yeah.
Because like you really do. And we'll get to record prediction at the end of this. And this, if you're looking for gassing up the Hokies to be 10 wins this year, you're not going to get it on this podcast. I'm so sorry. But there is a path here for a pretty darn good ACC record. I think it begins and ends, though, with that NC State game.
All right, so a couple last notes from me. We get Florida State on the schedule after a bye, and they're coming off of Clemson. Mm-hmm. That is massive for Virginia Tech, because that Clemson game, it's a rivalry game for FSU. They could be beat up, and we're coming off fresh. And I know we all know the stats around bye weeks. They don't necessarily mean anything, but it might mean something if they're coming off that Clemson game. Mm-hmm. And so that's a big thing to watch. And then the best quarterbacks on the schedule, I have as 6 guys that really pose problems. Sellers, Pavia, CJ Bailey, I'm adding, King, Moss, and Beck. Those would be the 6. Yeah, that's 6. 6 guys, 6 games where you're facing a well above average quarterback. And so those battles will be interesting to watch as well.
I'd agree. And I think, ODU's got a guy too. I'm just pointing it out there.
Okay.
ODU's got a guy.
It's not the same guy as last year.
Mm-mm. No.
Okay.
Oh, it's not the same guy that Virginia Tech faced last year. It is the same quarterback that they had last year.
Gotcha.
Okay. He got the starting nod after the Tech game. So there are some guys on here, and there's some familiar faces with Thomas Castellanos at Florida State. Chandler Morris is a seasoned quarterback. He'll be at UVA, and that'll be an interesting matchup. We'll see how that works for them. So it's not the easiest opposing quarterback schedule. Like I think the teams aren't that bad, but if you look at opposing quarterbacks, it's pretty tough.
I at least feel good that Chris Marv's defense managed to stop Thomas Castellanos twice. And so even if it's Gus Malzahn, right? Has him going.
Yeah.
Because I do think he's going to get a lot out of him. If he does have him going in the run game and all that stuff, I still have faith that Virginia Tech has done well against Tommy.
And those are two programs at the end of the schedule with Florida State and Miami. Those are two programs that you kind of perennially put on quit watch if the season doesn't go their way. I don't foresee that happening with Miami or Florida State this year, to be honest with you, but something to keep in mind as well. Those games look a lot harder in August than they sometimes are on the Saturday that you play them.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a quick second to talk about our sponsor before we move to the offense. 2 Deep Hokies Under the Influence is brought to you by Jack and Coke. 2 legends, 1 can, Jack and Coke. You can see that can right on the bottom of the screen. The #1 cocktail in the world is now available in a can. Yes, it's true. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey and Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar are available in a can at your local grocery and convenience stores. 2 legends, 1 can, Jack and Coke, ready to drink. We are very excited to have them back as a sponsor this year. And as always, when you're drinking those Jack and Cokes, please drink responsibly. We split up the position groups this year.
Mm-hmm.
We both did QB research. We both did a little special team stuff, but we kind of split up the some of the O and the D positions. Before we do offense, just the position battles at stake. There aren't a ton of position battles right now.
No, there's not. It's really just, I think the question is more of like, what formation are they going to run than the actual ordering of players in my mind.
Yeah, maybe second corner, maybe the wide receiver like cluster that they have, like who's starting, who's not. RB1, little bit in question at the moment, but otherwise, I feel like we're kind of set across the board, which should make this preview easy, but doesn't mean it's going to play out this way. The offense took a step backwards last year. It seemed like we found something in 2023 with Kyron running the ball, and then he got hurt. Vandy happened. He was okay. Then he got hurt again, and we dropped to 50th in yards per play. I'm sorry, 50th was 2 years ago, 71st last year. So we took a 20 spot drop, 67th in scoring offense, just 28 points per game. And then we went and lost a ton of talent. Now that talent didn't live up to the billing, but we lost Tootin, we lost Felton, we lost Lane, Gosnell, Jennings, entirely new offensive line. Not a bad thing necessarily. And we enter Phil Montgomery and Matt Moore to the fold. So with that all being said, like your take on the offense high level before we get into the positions.
I said it when we talked with Colby and we did like over-unders for all the teams. For Virginia Tech, I listed some more advanced stats. I was like, I don't see them being the 70th something best offense in the country. I just don't. Not with Phil Montgomery's track record, not with what we've seen from Kyron Jones when he's healthy, not from what we've seen from Matt Moore's offensive lines for not only when he was at West Virginia, but when he was at Troy as well. Do I think this is going to be a great offense? No.
Yeah.
Is it top? This is probably a good, not great offense.
So with Montgomery too, and we should just focus on this for the people who haven't been around, like he was at Tulsa, then he was at Auburn for a year with Hugh Freeze as the OC, got fired there, spent a year with the Birmingham Stallions last year, but he has worked with a ton of really good quarterbacks over his career. We're talking RG3, won a Heisman with him, Case Keenum, Bryce Petty, Nick Florence, Kevin Cobb. It goes on, but has the game passed him by was one of the questions when we hired him. Is like, okay, he has a good track record, but RG3 played in 2010, that's a long time ago.
His offense in the UFL was #1 offense, correct?
Which is nice.
Stallions. Yeah, #1. It's #1. Not going to apologize for it. #1. He has a lot of air raid systems to his offense. Look, he is part of the Art Briles air raid spread tree. So that I think is going to be interesting because Virginia Tech's never really ran an offense like that ever. And I mean, Don Strock threw the ball a bunch in like the 70s or something, but like this is the first modern air raid like offense that Virginia Tech will run. And that's I think sounds really good on paper. It's like kind of a sexy offense. Oh, we're going to run the air raid, pass the ball a lot. But air raids it's like getting a haircut with bangs, right? It's a risky move. It might work out for you. You might look like Anne Hathaway in Devil Wears Prada, but you probably won't.
Well,
I'm a little curious to see how this is going to work at Virginia Tech with
can we
Kyron
qualify
Jones
air raid though? Because despite it being air raid from that system in the past, he has run the ball quite a bit over the years.
He has. I don't think this will be a team that's doing like a 65-35 split run to pass.
Like no, I'm not. We will not run more than we pass, but I think it'll be very balanced.
I think it'll be balanced to start. I would not be surprised if he reverts to throwing the ball a bunch at some points.
See,
a little bit more than other OCs have.
I like this because we disagree a little bit, but when we get to the end of the offense, we can kind of hash it out a little bit more on Monty. I will also note when he was at Tulsa, started out really good. We played him in a bowl game.
Scored like 45 points on Tech. Yeah.
Yeah. But the cool thing about him leaving Tulsa, getting canned, whatever, it's like, that's not good. He got fired, and then he went to Auburn and got fired. Well, Tulsa got significantly worse after he left. Mm-hmm. Like significant. His last 3 years record in conference was 14-8. Since he's left, they've only won 3 games in like the 2 or 3 seasons since. So they've been very poor since they lost Coach Montgomery. So it's nice to have him on board. And if nothing else, the Birmingham Stallions experience proves that he can be adaptable. He can go into a situation, he can find the players that he has on hand, and he can have the best offense in a football league, a pro football league. Like you can make fun of that experience all you want, but that means something to me.
Well, he's talked a lot about how his offensive system is going to be based around the players that he does have. He almost day one, that was one of the first things he said was, we're going to adapt the offense to the talent and strengths that we have. Something that Virginia Tech for the past few years has really, really struggled at and been kind of stubborn with. So I'm excited to see that. I think it is anyone's guess what this offense really looks like. I think it will evolve during the season too.
Yes.
And it will change by opponent as well.
It's a right-hand man for Pry. It's someone to help him with a lot of experience with the situational football stuff on offense. And when we talked about it many times over the summer, Sam, we said, like, this is the most experienced OC coming into Virginia Tech, maybe ever. So it's to me, and I'm pretty sure to you, it's an upgrade over Tyler Bowen.
It's a significant upgrade. Like significant. That's without a doubt.
All right. With that being said, let's move to wide receiver. That's the first position group. And here there's a lot of change. We lost the 4 guys that came back last year. I already read off the names, but we are gaining back Tucker Holloway. Not just a wide receiver, but an amazing return man. Donovan Green comes over from Wake. Cam Seldon comes over from Tennessee. And Isaiah Spencer comes over from Jackson State. We also have Aiden Green, who are all hoping takes that next step after popping in the bowl game and having a little bit of hype last year. And he made some plays, 19 receptions, 268, the Miami touchdown, that hurdle in the Minnesota game. But he must correct the drops to like put all those tools to use, because he does have those tools.
Yeah. And I think if you're looking at a like depth chart, are we going to go over like what projected depth chart?
Yeah. Just say what have you got to say about the wideouts?
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Like Aiden Green needs to be the dude. Like you need a wide receiver 1, you need a go-to guy. I think that's got to be Aiden Green from an athleticism standpoint, right? He is clearly great. Although we've heard Donovan Green's kind of a freak in and of himself.
He made the freaks list. He made Bruce Feldman's freaks list.
So I think you have a pretty clear 1-2 punch right there. And then you use Seldon in a similar slot role as a quick guy to get the ball to, because we've heard that he's maybe the fastest guy on the team. And he really looked good in the spring. Everything we saw from the spring for Cam Seldon looked sensational.
He scored in the spring game. It was one of the few highlights that happened. I was there, and it was cool. Aiden Green threw him the pass.
But I mean, almost every highlight clip we saw was Cam Seldon, number 8.
I'm very high on Cam Seldon. In fact, I think that he has a chance to be the real breakout over the 2 Greens. I really think that he could be that guy, maybe filling the role of what Jalen Lane was at his best. But Donovan Green, 102 receptions and 1,800 yards at Wake. about 650 in 2022, but he's had the injuries over the years. So that's something to watch with Donovan Green. But when he's been healthy, he has been a very effective wide receiver, and he has the skills, the talent as well. So Green, Selden, and then you get to some of the depth pieces like Takai Heath. Devin Alves got a shout out the other day. And then Isaiah Spencer. Curious what he's going to do. I'm not expecting necessarily double-digit catches or 20 catches or anything like that, but he could be a factor. He's got good size, put on some weight since leaving Jackson State. So to me, it's a good group because you have veterans. I know they haven't all played at Tech, but you have veterans, you have experience, you have high upside athleticism. All the things are there for it, but Fontel Mines has to prove that he can coach these guys up because he's a great recruiter. We haven't seen the other piece of it necessarily from his group.
Yeah, and I think you need a bit more creative of a passing game, first and foremost, to help those wide receivers. The depth is certainly there. Justin Fuente would have loved this wide receiver room. This thing goes like 9-10 guys deep.
Exactly.
But you need a wide receiver one. This has been kind of a hot topic in the college football nerds world, is of something to look out for. When a team says things like wide receiver by committee, that means that they don't really have a dude at wide receiver. I don't think we've heard that from Virginia Tech, but they need somebody to step up.
I think it's going to be clear early. Like I don't know who it is. I like I said, I like Selden, but like someone's going to emerge and it's going to be Kyron's go-to guy, and it's going to be fun to watch. And I'm not trying to leave out Keelan Adams and Chance Wiggins, but we know that they're dealing with injuries. When healthy, I expect Keelan Adams to be in the 2 deep, to be out there making plays.
Yeah, and I think those guys, are a little lower on the depth chart now than we maybe thought they would be a year ago. I think we looking at this team at this point last year, we were like, dude, Brody Adams is going to be the guy next year. And now he's 7th, 8th on this depth chart as it stands today. Mm-hmm. That's how quickly your roster can change in college football.
But he's still a very young player too.
Yeah, totally. I mean, he got a red shirt last year. Wiggins got a red shirt last year too. So
they got plenty of time, but they have that talent, and they were making a lot of waves early on in their Tech career. So they'll be back, but it's just a stacked room because we got Peterkin in there too, who's probably going to take a red shirt because he's very skinny, but they really like what Shamarius Peterkin is doing. Snoop Peterkin.
Speaking of stack, they were running a stack wide receiver formation in practice a bit. That is one little note we got. Tech, I've never seen Tech run that, but I would expect some wide splits from the wide receiver, some stacked formation, a lot of motion, fun stuff we didn't see last year.
I think they can outperform last year's team. Last year's group. I think they can. I have faith in the talent. I have faith in a bounce back, and I have faith in Kyron's health this year that will help that room. So let's move to running back, Sam.
Yeah, running back is really interesting because, again, we came into this season going, oh my gosh, who's going to take it? Then you get Terrion Stewart from Bowling Green. The dude is a bulldog. Like he's like 5'8", 220 pounds. One of the best tackle breakers in college football. He's been dealing with a bit of injury. And then here comes Marcellus Hawkins, a D2 transfer. And he has done nothing but wow people since being at Virginia Tech. And I think he's taken over the RB1 spot. And he's a do-it-all guy, veteran. They really like his speed. They say he's put on a lot of strength since getting on campus. They're really excited about this guy.
It's so funny that you bring in these 3 transfers, 2 of which are from FBS. And then number 1's going to be the D2 guy, but he has the prototypical size. Like in reality, he has the biggest frame. He's 5'11", 219. And so he's about the same weight as Terrion Stewart, but he's taller. So like he fits the perfect mold. And if he can match that with the athleticism, like we've seen in some of the practice clips and what the coaches are saying, he was a 1,000-yard rusher. He ran for nearly 7 yards a carry in his big year at Central Missouri. 18 rushing touchdowns in a season. I think it might have been like 11 games or something like that. Like he did damage. Now, he should do damage. If he's going to come up to this level, you better be the best damn running back D2's ever seen. And maybe he was. And that's why he's here now. But he was injured or missed a lot of the season last year, decided to redshirt. I don't know what happened, but he didn't really play last year. But there's a good chance with how it's sitting right now, he's our RB1. And so D2 be damned. He's here, and he's going to be carrying the football. I like the idea of course, I love Terrion Stewart. I thought he was going to be our number one back as soon as we said we got him. You were all over him from Bowling Green. He has over 2,300 yards in his career rushing. He doesn't catch out of the backfield, but my God, can he plow over some people, make some people miss, break some tackles? Only Tootin and Genty were the better tackle breakers than him last year in college football.
I actually, if you take it by like broken tackle percentage, he was better than Genty last year. But he didn't get as many carries as Genty, so he didn't have the total number. But he's really hard to tackle. That's the point.
And I'm not really too worried about the boot thing. Maybe South Carolina is not a perfect health game for him, but like we got a lot of season beyond that.
And I think he's a guy who could play himself into the RB1 role for sure. Yeah. And I think it's a 3 running back system with those two. And then Braden Bennett, transfer running back from Coastal Carolina, has a little bit of like Deshaun McLeese to his game. Like a lot of, he kind of looks like he gets shot out of a cannon when he runs. Not the most powerful guy, but he can catch the ball. He's good as a wide receiver, good on the outside. I think he's going to be really productive for this team because I think he averaged like 6 yards a carry at Coastal last year with a good amount of volume. Yeah, he's a good running back as well. So I think you're going to have a 3 running back system back there.
So in his career, Bennett has 2,700 yards from scrimmage. Like he's already played 5 years of college football.
Yeah, he can move.
He can move. He's 6'1", 205, 28 touchdowns at Coastal. 28 total touchdowns. That's a lot for a guy that you're kind of like not getting off the scrap heap, but was a little bit of an afterthought. But when you looked at their PFF grades of, I think it was Hawkins, Bennett, and Bully, like they all had nice grades coming in. So that to me, if they're all healthy, like that's their 3-headed monster that Pry's talking about. Those are my leaders in the clubhouse to be the 3 new guys.
Yeah, I think after those 3, it's going to be pretty sparse touches behind them.
Because we have Coney still, we have Prelo still, Tyler Mason, and then Jeff Overton is the true freshman, but is healing from an injury. I love his future. Overton has a very bright future.
Super stoked on him. But those are the 3 guys at the top. Those are the guys to know. Excited to see how it works. I think they are being cautious with Terrion Stewart because they feel good about the other 2. That's going to be my guess right now.
I love that spin. I love that.
I don't think that if from what Ryan has said from practice and what Pry has said, I think it's like if they needed Terrion Stewart right now, he'd be there.
Yeah. I think Pry's been like riding Stewart a little bit too. Like, I'd like to see him on the field. Like, and because he came in later than the other guys. And then
he did. I think he like graduated at BGSU and then all that. So we'll see.
So there's no Tootin, but at full strength, I think the room will be just fine. Like it's a better overall room than last year.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's move to tight end, Sam. This is one of yours as well.
Benji Gosnell.
That's the guy.
Yeah, that's about it. To be honest, I don't think you're going to see a lot of tight end in this offense.
Yeah.
I think Benji Gosnell is really talented. I think he's going to have a breakout year. This is his first healthy offseason since he was like, we talked to him in the Natty, but like since he was like a sophomore in high school or something. Like I think he's going to have a really good year and be the go-to guy. I would love to see him as a red zone target. I feel like Tech has neglected the tight end in the red zone for so long. Would love to see him kind of go up and get some jump balls, be a bit more physical of a wide receiver presence. He needs to improve blocking. He's not a great blocker in the run game. That hurt Tech a little bit last year because they were a little bit predictable with some formations sometimes. So he needs to get better there, but he's going to be your guy at tight end. Behind him, Harrison St. Germain has been a pretty productive player. I think he's going to get in tough goal line situations, things like that. So, but this is not an offense that's going to be running a lot of 2 tight end sets. They're not going to be throwing to the tight end a lot. So
this is why I'm optimistic on Benji in the blocking game. And we talked about this with him too. Matt Moore, they meet with the offensive line coach quite often. And the addition of Matt Moore is going to help Benji in his blocking as well. And the healthy offseason that he finally has to lift the way he wants to, because he loves to lift. Like we really could see a lot of improvement in like the basic tight end skills from him.
Yeah. And I mean, the talent is all there. We've seen it on film. The issue is tight end is kind of tough because it's more the position is so based on opportunity because you're not going to get targeted as much as
You're a
other
safety
outside
valve
wide
a lot of
receivers.
times.
You're not going to get carries. Like you need the offense to pick up first downs in order to even see what you have at tight end. And unfortunately, last year and the year before, Tech sometimes had some issues with that. Like I remember the Marshall game the Marshall and Rutgers games. Like Tech barely got a first down the whole first half of those games.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to be able to spread the ball to all these wide receivers and tight ends and stuff? So if Tech can be a little more consistent on offense, not great, but like a little bit more consistent moving the ball, I think you can see a big year from Benji Gusno.
You want to hear how ridiculously bad some of our wide receiver production was last year?
Oh,
Daquan Felton had 360 yards. Benji had 341. Benji finished 19 yards behind Felton last year.
It is kind of shocking how few receiving yards guys got last year. Like you don't really think about it.
Benji did good comparatively, like to those guys.
Here's a little. I'm just gonna real quick off the cuff. Do we have a wide receiver get over 700 this year?
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be like because that's what she said. But I think that with the spread, with us not knowing. Unless we get that guy stepping up week 1, Aiden Green, he's the guy. Then he can do 700. Absolutely. But it's going to be very interesting. Like who's the deep? Because if you don't have a quarterback who's really throwing deep balls, it's hard to amass like that amount of yards. So if we see Kyron, which we'll talk about shortly, improving his deep ball accuracy, then yeah, it's going to help pad those stats, get one of our wide receivers to 700.
Leading wide receiver for the Hokies last season was Stephen Gosnell with 506, 18.1 yards reception, pulling his best Carroll Dale.
Go to the year before. Go to 2023.
Go to 2023.
Who was our leader?
Daquan Felton, 667.
So he didn't break 700 either.
Only had 38 receptions.
Yeah,
I mean, you're looking at like
we hit a few deeps with him. Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at 3 receptions a game, and then you don't want to see the year before that.
But Benji's our leading returning wideout, like or receiver. Like he had the most yards that's returned because the top 4 are gone.
I'm scrolling back pretty far here. Tech hasn't had a 700-yard receiver in
Cam.
Okay, I was in school it was Damon Hazelton. In 2018.
He was good. He was really good. All right, let's take a quick beer break and then we'll move to our next position. Sam, what are you drinking over there, man?
Oh, Pete, it is time. It is time. It is time. Boom. The Oktoberfest.
Oh, yeah. The traditional pattern.
What a beautiful German Oktoberfest can. This is from Center of the Universe Brewing Company in Ashland, Virginia. Underrated brewery. They have a couple of really good summery drinks. One that's at the Richmond Flying Squirrels game that's really, really good. It's like a mango crush drink. It's delicious. This is their Oktoberfest, and it is as classic of an Oktoberfest as you can get. I want a scented candle that smells like Oktoberfest beer. It smells delicious. It smells like a bakery in the morning. It tastes delicious. Great job, Center of the Universe. I'll give them a Prost.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love Center of the Universe. Very underrated brewery, as you said. Their Pocahontas, I think that was them many years ago. It was like the first beer I ever had from them. And I was like, oh man, I like this place.
Yep.
All right. I am also drinking an Oktoberfest. It's called The Whisper, and it is from Treehouse Brewing. You can see that logo if I get it just a little bit closer. I had friends that were at Treehouse a couple days ago. Casey and Jake, shout out to the Torox. They texted my wife and was like, hey, we're here. Does Pete want some beer? And I did. So I sent them a couple of 4-packs that I wanted, and I got them today. And this Whisper, which is their Marzen lager, is perfectly balanced. Like, and look at that, Sam. It's just like clear right through, so crisp. Some of the Octobers, they can get a little malty on the tongue, and you're like, I don't really want much more of this. It's too much. This is so easy to drink. There's a Prost right at the bottom of the description, so that's awesome. It's a beer they're immensely proud of and trust that you will enjoy as much as we do. I agree. It's
Yeah.
it's robust. It's balanced, as I said. Crisp. I love it. The
I mean,
whisper from Treehouse.
and Oktoberfest should be able to be you should be able to say like, yes, I could drink this outside in a stein that is bigger than my face.
Yeah, that's why I went with the
If
mug tonight.
if you feel like you can't drink that much of it, it's not a good Oktoberfest. The style of beer is meant for you to drink a lot of it. And so I Center of the Universe crushed it. Great job, guys.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, because you're right. It comes in liters, right? Or half liters. Like, you got to be able to take it down.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And make sure you guys are checking out Roback as well. You know that we've been with Roback for a while. They just dropped the Sandman polo, which has the hourglass and the guitar on it. It is awesome. It's got the white background. Roback.com can hook you up. 20% off if you use code 2DeepVT. I just tweeted out an ad with Lenora Sellers advertising Roback. Don't love that, but I do love that it might be distracting him to be in all these photo shoots, making Beats commercials and being on Roback and all this stuff. Well, let's stick it to him. Use our code 2DVT. Let's make him even more distracted. Let's get Roback reaching out to him every day before the game, trying to sell some shit.
Yeah.
Little dresses, polos, quarter zips, the whole 9 yards. Hoodies are amazing. Roback.com. Load up your cart. 2DVT is the code. Roback Crave Activity.
Can we get a little breaking news?
Yeah.
On the pod? The Virginia Tech men's soccer team, the Hokies, take down number 3 Ohio State 1-0. So shout out to the Hokies.
I love that they're already playing. I saw the women move
Women
to
are 2-0.
2-0, yeah. But that's a big win. Really big.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Heck yeah. Let's go, lads.
Let's go, lads. They have that one kid that I tweeted out, looks like works at JP Morgan. He's like 40 years old. It's one of these like foreign kids from overseas. I'm like, where do they find this guy? But he's supposedly very good.
Good for them. I mean, both programs are doing a really good job right now. So shout out to both the soccer programs.
On offensive line, Matt Moore comes over from West Virginia, and he instantly gives this group more credibility. Ron Crook, he had some good runs. He was with Cincinnati when they went to the playoff, but it didn't work out here. And there were some very questionable personnel moves that happened over the past couple of years that we don't need to get into. But one thing I noted today when I was looking up West Virginia and Matt Moore and all this stuff, West Virginia has had precisely 2 guys drafted in the last 2 NFL drafts. Both were offensive linemen. They're only guys that got drafted. So Neil Brown was a sinking ship, and the only thing keeping it mildly afloat was Matt Moore on offensive line.
They're all pretty good offensive linemen too.
Yeah,
pretty good. I think he is. Virginia Tech has swung and missed on a lot of offensive line guys. I think Vance Weiss was really good. I think Vance Weiss did a great job with what he had. I think the last 2 have been total duds, to put it really nicely. And maybe once I finish this beer, I'll have other words for it. But I think Matt Moore is such an insane upgrade of a proven track record of a coach. So really, really excited about that. Before you get into more of the personnel, my caveat would be we haven't seen a lot of the offensive line in practice. We haven't seen a lot of contact drills, which are kind of important for the offensive line. How well they are performing is a bit of an unknown.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And it was our worst position in 2024. So we're building from the ground up, and that needs to be understood. We lost Chaplin. We lost Braylon Moore to the portal. Bob Schick as well. He's gone. In addition to Caden and Clements, who are no longer with the program, but that might be addition by subtraction. Who knows? We have a confirmed starting 5 and have had a confirmed starting 5 for a while now on offensive line. And that is something that's been very unusual. Even Vance Weiss would always talk about, we got guys rotating. Like, you were never quite sure who it was going to be. At the ones, we got Johnny Garrett, Laith Ganem, Kyle Altuner, the redshirt freshman transfer from West Virginia, Montavious Cunningham, and Tomas Rimac. Was he honorable mention All Big 12 last year? Or did he might have made a couple of the teams on various outlets?
I mean, he's the guy though. I'm seeing him a lot on like all transfer teams and stuff like that.
Yeah. So getting him he's going to play right tackle. He was a guard last year. I think Athlon or Lindy's had him as like the 8th best guard in the country. Well, I'll take the 8th best guard in the country and move him over to right tackle, and he'll be pretty damn good. And then Montavious Cunningham, we've seen him in the weight room putting up big weights, and the anonymous sources that have been coming out of the program said he could be our best offensive lineman. Even though he couldn't get on the field last year under Ron Crook, he could be our best.
And he had media availability a few days ago, and I think that was really good for him. I think he took last year hard, and I think this year is really, really important to him, as it is all the players. But I think we're going to see a pretty good player here, because he was really good at his last stop, and he came in with a lot of hype, and he was an all-conference guy in the Sun Belt. So I'm really excited to see him. Those two on the same side of the line together, I think, has to feel good for this offense.
That's what they call the strong side, right? Like, that is going to be our strong side. Like, that is run that direction. I think those two are going to be your road graders. And then Kyle Altuner is a bit of an interesting story, because he is young, on the younger side to be starting offensive lineman in the P4 level, but he is a really good recruit that came over from West Virginia, and Moore had so much confidence in him that when Braylon was in, I'm talking about Matt Moore, but then when Braylon Moore was in talks with LSU to leave and stuff like that, Matt Moore basically said to Pry, we're good if Kyle Altuner's our guy. Like, I think he's going to beat out Braylon anyway.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but that was what essentially Price said.
He doesn't look like a freshman. He looks like a junior or senior. I mean, the dude looks nasty. And
his dad is also huge.
His dad is a hoss. I mean, his dad is one of the largest human beings I've ever seen in my life. This guy, like, he looks like a big-time offensive lineman. And I think, just picture it down the line, and we have like a 4th-year starting center who started every snap. Like, oh, that would be so sick. I feel like Tech has missed that. It's been since, like, it brings me back to like Wyatt Teller and those guys. And
was it so? Altuner was a 4-star coming out of high school, right?
Yep.
And then Lath Gannam, a 4-star out of high school as well. He'll be starting at left guard, and he was recruited by Matt Moore at West Virginia. He's a West Virginia kid.
He was the number 1 player in the state. Yep.
So Matt Moore's familiar with him. The only kind of more question mark, because I think Lath is going to be good. Like, he always has taken to the program, and we've been waiting and waiting, but I think he'll be just fine. Garrett at left tackle is a downgrade from Chaplin. There's no doubt about it. But they feel confident in him. And he's been, over the years, he's always been like that 6th or 7th guy. Like, he's been kind of like right there fighting to get snaps.
And he played well when he did play last year, because Chaplin was pretty beat up all throughout the year. So Garrett got a lot of run in. I would say if there's one position that you don't want to have a question mark, it's probably left tackle. And so that's a little bit worrying for me. And it's one of the reasons why, not Johnny Garrett specifically, but this offensive line in general, it's one of the reasons that is keeping me from being super hype about this team. Is it's a lot of question marks. Like, we don't know what these guys look like full speed.
Exactly. And so that's the starting 5. I feel confident if they stay healthy and play the year out, they are going to improve slowly as it goes along. And maybe it won't be pretty right off the bat, but like, it's going to be better than last year. Like, and the year before, and the year before.
Systemically.
Yes.
Systemically, it's going to be better. Yeah.
As for the depth, Brody Meadows is one of those pieces that's right behind everybody. Now, his health has been a little bit of an issue, but he's a very big boy. And when he's back, and he basically is back, he'll play like a backup, and that's fine. Jaden Muskrat comes over from Auburn. He was with Monty at Tulsa. He was with him at Auburn, I believe. He's a depth piece. And then you got guys like Tommy Ricard, who we were excited to see in the bowl game, but couldn't play because he got sick. Aiden Lynch, Lucas Austin, another redshirt freshman that came over from WVU. So thank God for Matt Moore loading this room up with guys, because we were hurting in terms of the numbers.
Well, it's a lot of freshmen and sophomores too, which is a little bit scary if they have to get in because they don't have a lot of run time, but you feel pretty good for the future to have some guys stepping in who have been in a collegiate program for a few years. So I think depth-wise, they're probably 1 or 2 guys short. They would have liked to have a little bit more cohesiveness in that starting 5 up front. but I don't think it's going to be a weak link on this team, right? And like you talked about last year, it was one of, if not the weak links on the team. I don't think it's going to be that this year. Will it be a great offensive line? I'm not sure about that either.
Right. Well, let's move on to the key position of the team before we do defense. We have to talk about quarterback, and I'm going to give you first crack and kind of previewing our quarterback room.
I mean, if you're just talking Kyron Drones, if he's healthy, it's a really, really high ceiling. And we've talked about this since he got recruited over from Baylor. And we've seen it on the field. Like, I think we've seen like some of his highlights on Twitter lately, and it's like, oh, he's that good? Like, crap, he's really good. Got a little bit deer. He has a tendency to look like a deer in headlights sometimes, though. Like we saw it in the Vanderbilt game. He just it didn't click for him. Now
that was a
second
very
half,
bad game for him.
He looked really good. You look at the Rutgers game, then you look at the first half of the Marshall game, and you're like, dude, what are you doing? Like he just looked frazzled, absolutely out of his element. And then he turns around. He looks really good the second half of Marshall, and he, looks unreal against Boston College. Orchestrated probably the best 2-minute drive in Virginia Tech history. There's not a lot of them, but I mean, he was phenomenal.
You're talking about 2 years ago or last year?
Last year against BC.
BC, okay.
At the end of the first half, he looked like an NFL quarterback. And so I think there is so much potential there. I really hope Phil Montgomery's the guy to unlock it. I think he has weapons around him, a more stable offensive line. He should have some opportunities. The first two defenses he goes up against, South Carolina and Vanderbilt, they're good defenses. I wouldn't say their defensive backs are the strength of their team, though. Like, I think there will be open wide receivers for him to hit. He's got to see him, and he's got to hit him, though.
He absolutely does, because he is a physical freak, as you said. He can squat a ton. The ball just flies out of his hand. He's got a cannon. And he's really tried to take that leadership role on this offseason. He was talking about it with Adam Brenneman. Yeah. And he's motivated. I mean, he even said himself, like, maybe he got caught up in a little bit of the hype, trying to get to the league, this kind of stuff. And now it's like, I'm just here to play for my brothers. They've talked about the brotherhood thing so much, all the various things they've done to try to bring this new 50 guys in and make the team close. And he's been a big part of that. So last year, when he takes that step back, I think largely due to injury, but also because of some of the things we just talked about, maybe getting a little ahead of himself, I think it really hit him hard as well. You're talking about Cunningham. I think Kyron took it hard, and he tried to play through injuries, but what we saw on the field was not good. His QBR was 81st in the country. Yeah. He put up 129 passer rating. That's really bad. And so it didn't live up to the Heisman dark horse hype that people were putting on him, which was probably unfair. We said it was unfair on our preview last year. To be honest, when we were a year ago, we said, let's back off of the Heisman stuff a little bit, but we were excited. I thought he could be ACC player of the year last year, and it just didn't go that way.
I mean, there were moments. I mean, that Miami game,
yes.
The Boston College game. I'm leaving a few out, I'm sure. Stanford, he looked great against Stanford.
That 3-game stretch was amazing.
And that was his healthy stretch. Mm-hmm. Like, that was when he was healthy and feeling good. And so I think he is a player who needs to have that physicality as his X factor in order to reach his potential. Got to keep him healthy. Like, that's
yes. It. And he's got to run the ball. Like,
yes,
we need to, I don't know if he's a perfect fit for Monty's offense, but he really likes the offense. And Monty has a history. Like, what was it? Dane Evans, like, ran for 1,000, threw for 2,000 or 3,000. Like, Monty has a way to do this. And so if he gets back to the old Kyron, like, I want to see him go back to the old me, right? And the accuracy can improve because you're working off the play action. You're working off of that physicality in the passing game. It opens things up. He hits a couple more deep balls. Well, there's a bull case where he is at the top of the ACC in the quarterback rankings.
Yeah, his deep ball accuracy and his in-breaking crossing route accuracy has to improve. Mm-hmm. Those two throws have to improve. Been working. You hope they do. Something that Bud Elliott actually said on the Cover 3 podcast that I thought was a really interesting tidbit. He said that the Art Briles tree of offense, this like pseudo air raid style offense, it is one that seems to be easy for quarterbacks to pick up, and they usually do pretty well year one. I don't think he was talking directly about Phil Montgomery and Virginia Tech, but he was talking about that Art Browse tree.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was an interesting tidbit from someone who knows probably more about college football than you and I combined, Pete.
Yes. I love Bud Elliott. All right. So my idea for like, I always talk about the bear case and the bull case. The bear case is he gets hurt again and it's just a disaster and it doesn't work out, but we don't have to do that. The bull case of what he could achieve is like 600 yards rushing, 2,800 yards passing ish. Like that is what we were hoping for last year. Something in that ballpark, maybe 3,000 yards rushing or passing and 600 rushing and around 30 touchdowns. Because 2 years ago, what did he put up? Like 23 in 11 games, 23 touchdowns in 11 games. So he was very, very good on a per game basis because he didn't even start the year as the starter. And so if he can get back to even the 2023 level and add a couple pieces in a better offense by a better offensive coordinator, there is reason to believe in the bull case.
Yeah, and I think you feel like it's due almost. Like last year was the bad year. Last year was the sophomore slump. Like last year was the year
that just going to have this year.
I mean, it was the year that everything went wrong. Like literally everything went wrong. So I feel good about him.
So let's talk about the backups then.
Yeah. So the backup Pop Watson, I think Abraham Price calling it a competition with him and Rangel, the transfer from Oklahoma State, but it's Pop Watson as the backup and the heir apparent in my opinion right now.
Yeah, it's nice that Rangel is pushing Pop a little bit, and Rangel he was a good recruit too. He's got arm talent, but Pop, so happy he stayed. I feel confident that if Jones did miss games, like Pop could win us a couple games. He won us a game against, we're going to call him a Power 4, even though it's UVA, but he won us that game.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to have that in your back pocket. And maybe our quarterback of the future as well. So I'm hoping that everything hits, and it's cool to have a guy like Kyron who is basically like you're looking at Jalen Hurts, but an inch or two taller in Kyron Drones. Like he has that strength. He has that like running ability as Jalen Hurts, but he needs to put together the pieces.
The ceiling is so high. It's so astronomically high with Kyron.
Overall, we talked about Monty. We talk about KD. Injuries to an offensive lineman or him, they're a concern, but they're not nearly as big a concern as they would have been a year ago, to me.
Yeah, I think so.
And if you look at the offense, Sam, we argued a little bit about the percentage of run. I think they went out and they got 3 portal running backs. That's think fair. Brent Pry wants to run the ball. And Monty at Tulsa 2020, 54% run plays. Tulsa 2021, 57 run plays. Tulsa 2022, 51%. Auburn, 62%. Now that was Peyton Thorne.
That was Peyton Thorne.
But like this is telling me, I said they wouldn't go over 50%. I'm going the other way. They are going to be over 50%. He's been over 50% at all these places. Birmingham was the only place that he was under the 50% mark.
I just think this team, if they want to be better than mediocre, which is what the best case scenario has been over the past few years, like that's been what they are, honestly. If they want to be better than mediocre, I think they have to be more explosive and they have to be able to throw the ball better than they have. Okay. Now, does that mean for throwing on a more efficient basis? Probably, but I think you need to be able to push the ball downfield. And I don't think they brought in Phil Montgomery so they could hand the ball off 40 times a game. I just don't think that's the OC you hire for that. But that's my thought. I might be totally wrong. I have no idea.
Okay, they didn't bring him in to hand the ball off, but did they bring him in to let Kyron run?
I see. Here's the thing. Every time we just talked about how important, like I want Kyron to run. I think he should run a bunch. I don't know if you go in here and with your quarterback who had a bunch of health issues last year and you say, man, you know what we're going to do? Power QB read option every single play.
No, not every single play, but
like I am a little
best. It's what he's done best throughout his career. And we got to win some damn games.
I don't know how many. I don't know if you win more than 6 games if you have a quarterback who runs that much.
Fair. He can't run like the Tulane game all year long. No. Because he put himself through hell that game.
There's a happy medium that they have to find and they have to hit. I think a lot of it depends on what do we get out of this offensive line? Can they pass pro for him? Can they protect for him? Do our offensive
pass pro has been so horrible?
It's been horrible. I mean, it's gotten him injured twice.
Yeah.
I mean, and the wide receivers, do they create any separation at all? All of this depends on how they play on the field. My take to wrap it up is they brought in Phil Montgomery to have a more pass heavy offense. But I do agree. I think we just talked about the running backs. I think they're really talented at running back and they have a running quarterback and they probably have to use that if they want to win games.
50-50. Let's go 50-50.
What if they had 50-50?
Speaking of 50, I do think top 50-ish offense is reasonable goal for the year. If you go by SP plus, if you go by yards per play, can we move from 71 to 50 to 49?
We're asking so little.
I know it's really but I just don't want to go backwards anymore. Let's go forwards. And so that would be my goal, 40 to 50 in the SP plus.
The team 50th last year in adjusted EPA per play on offense was the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Are you kidding me?
Can you have a better offense than Mississippi State?
Because last
year you were 77th and Florida Atlantic was better than you.
Good Lord. All right.
So
let's move to defense. Let's talk about.
It's going to be great, Pete. It's going to be great.
Chief Seif and all the rest. We were replacing a lot. We lost Peoples. We lost APR, Fuga, Penne, Nelson, Jenkins, Strong, Delane, Phillips. That's a lot of good players that are no longer with the team. A few draftees on that list in the NFL. 48th in yards per play last year after being 28th the year before. So we saw a drop in the defense, 39th in scoring defense. But where we really got killed, Sam, was explosive plays. 97th in the country in plays of 40 yards plus allowed. 97th. We gave up 15 40-yard plus plays. Oh, that's not so bad. It's just a little over one a game, right? You know how many 40-yard plus plays that Indiana allowed over the season?
I'm going to say 2, and I think they
4.
were both against, 2 of them were against Ohio State.
4 the entire season. Wisconsin gave up 3 the entire season. We gave up 15. And Wisconsin wasn't even good.
It was an issue with Chris Marv's defense.
It was. Yeah. We have to limit the explosive plays. So enter Sam Seifkes, NFL assistant, analyst, a DC at Wofford before that, known to be adaptable, 3-man fronts, 4-man fronts, had very good FCS defenses playing completely different styles back-to-back years. And he has been assigned with helping Pry get better at the situational football stuff. It's been a focus since Sam got here. It's the first thing they did. So maybe we see some more 3-high safety looks. Maybe we see a lot more 3-man fronts. But overall, I think I was skeptical at first when we hired this guy, but I am extremely hopeful for it now.
I'm hopeful that we can out-scheme some teams. I'm hopeful by the time teams figure out what Tech is doing on defense, it's too late. I think that's your hope for the South Carolina game, if you want to be blunt, is that South Carolina doesn't know what to do for the first 3 quarters of the game. I think that's why you bring in a guy like Seifkes, not because he can't coach really well and mano-a-mano beat guys, but because you want that X factor that you feel like you need, because Virginia Tech isn't recruiting 4- and 5-star linebackers. They're not getting the best edge players in the country. They're not littered with lockdown corners. You're going to have to find other ways to be good on defense.
That's what Pride missed the first time around. He hired young coordinators, first-timers that he thought could recruit. Oh, they're young, they'll relate. Bowen did recruit decently well, but he failed to realize at Virginia Tech, you need scheme. You need to win with scheme. And that's what Sam could potentially bring. And it's weird. I'm saying Sam and I'm talking to Sam, but
I got this, Pete.
All right, let's
I'll fire up the boys. Let's go.
Let's go to DB. That's on you, man. What you got over on DB?
The DB is one of the more interesting position groups on the team, maybe the most interesting, because there's so much depth at this position, and yet they still brought in transfers late in the cycle. I'm talking about Caleb Brown, corner from Hawaii, who they're bringing as a depth piece. So I think Brent Pry was pretty tired of being shallow at the defensive back position. He said, watch this, and went out and got some guys. So let's talk about those guys. Dante Lovett is your cornerstone. I think he's your cornerback 1. I don't know if he's going to be like Dorian Strong, who kind of followed guys around. I don't know if that's how they're going to run things, but he's your best corner, and you feel really good about him. The other corner is a little bit interesting. You feel pretty good with Isaiah Brown Murray, aka IBM, at the nickelback position. We've heard he's worked at corner a bit, but I think he's your nickel corner. So he'll be in probably like 60% of the plays, to give or take whatever formation they're running. Against him, like Christian Williams is a guy who could play corner. You have Thomas Williams, who could be the other corner as well. Christian Ellis could potentially play corner, nickel, safety. We don't know. Like that second corner is still up for grabs a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if it changes during this season. Any thoughts on corner? Because
I think
they got some dudes.
Thomas, I think, is the leader in the clubhouse to be
Thomas
the guy
Williams.
Thomas Williams. Yes,
probably. I would pen him in. I wouldn't Sharpie him in.
No, and with what he said about IBM the other day, saying like he could play outside too and not just nickel. That leads me to believe even more of what you're saying. Like, we're not exactly sure what's going to happen on the outside. I think Thomas Williams is the leader next to Dante Lovett, but it's IBM, it's Caleb Brown. If you move down the list, it could be JoJo Krim. They love
it could be. They
the
really
true
like
freshman him. JoJo Krim. They love Knowledge Harrell. These guys are going to play snaps. They're going to get on the field. And we've done that in the past. We had 2 freshman corners back in 2013 with Fuller and Faison. Mm-hmm. And there's no, like, that is Tally said this, like, it's a position that you can get on the field early. And I think that's right because of the weight thing. Like, you're not an offensive lineman where you need to put on all this strength. If you're quick and you've got limbs, you can go out there and knock some balls down, right? Like we saw Mansour Delane do it 2 years ago.
And that's one thing about Thomas Williams is like, he has the speed. He has the herky-jerky athleticism to him that they really like. So I think he's going to be a part. I think they're going to rotate some guys more than normal. Last year, Brent Pry talked about this year, referencing last year, that he felt like Dorian Strong and Mansour Delane played too many snaps, and they kind of faltered down the stretch. So I think you do see a little bit more rotation there. At the safety position, so at free safety, I think they're sticking with Quentin Reddish, who's continued to get better throughout his career. At strong safety, Rice transfer Tyson Flowers is a guy who they've been high on since they got him. He's one of those guys that they threw in front of the media immediately. They felt really good about him. He graded out pretty well at Rice. They feel
Josh
good about
Pate
Tyson.
Retweeted the video of him and Colby saying, this is the kind of guy you want on your team.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think he's locked down to that strong safety position. But behind him, Pete, this is who I really want to talk about. Jordan Bass.
You want to talk
Pitt,
about Bass?
4-star recruit out of, I think he went to Indian River, maybe here in Chesapeake area, the 757. I might be wrong on that, but somewhere around here. Linebacker hybrid, but like, he wasn't big enough for a linebacker, had some injury issues last year, so he transfers here to Virginia Tech. This guy's a dog. They've moved him to safety, and all he's doing is making plays. He's big, he's fast, he's got long arms. He's making plays in the run game that look really good. I think Jordan Bass is going to force his way onto the field.
Bass is a Phoebus guy.
Phoebus. All right, so Hampton. My bad. Wrong side, up in the peninsula. I know you're not going to write.
Price said that he's flashed. He said that Bass has flashed since moving to safety. However, we've got Cash, we've got Ellis, we've got Koval, in addition to Flowers and Reddish. And you said Reddish throughout his career, he's only a true sophomore. He got thrown into the fire last year.
He's gotten better as his career has gone on. He still has some time.
No, that you can stand by that because it's true. He only had I think Reddish only started one game because after Stroman got hurt, they were bringing in Jalen Jones. Mm-hmm. And then who was the other guy? Mose, of course. So
Mose Phillips.
So yes, Reddish, highly touted kid that they've loved him since he got to Tech. He's the one that ran the block kickback against Clemson too. Mm-hmm. Reddish did. But you were talking about Delane and Strong playing too many snaps and faltering. We haven't talked much about Jared Ferguson and what his program could mean for our best players being able to play the whole game and hang, because that's what finishing. It's a huge part of the storylines with the 1-score game thing. And maybe I should have emphasized it earlier, but Ferg, by all accounts, has done all the things we needed to correct in the weight room. The guys seem to responding to the workouts. Everything we've heard from the people that monitor the programs, and they're in good shape. He's running the hell out of them. They're going to be able to start fast and finish. I can't talk. Start fast and finish strong.
You got it.
Beer it's tough on me right now.
Well, I'll tell you one thing too, and we've heard from this from our correspondent Ryan, who's been doing a great job covering. And Ryan played collegiate football, so he knows what this looks like on a practice. He said it's been a really physical practice, like even in the non-physical portions of practice. And Brent Pryce brought it up too. He said we've been able to be more physical and have a more intense fall camp because of what we did in the winter, spring, and early summer. So I think that's a really good sign for a team that was something that lost them probably 2 or 3 games last year.
It's a more physical team. I believe that it will be. And it's also a more physically imposing team. We've talked about the sizing up on the O-line, sizing up on the D-line, something that Sam Sifkis had talked about. So it's going to be one of the better looking coming off the bus Virginia Tech teams we've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Linebacker. I think this group finally finds their footing this year in 2025. They flailed a bit. There's a lot of F's, but they flailed a bit under Chris Marv. Is this finally Jaden Keller's coming out party? We've been hearing about this
running
guy
out of time
since the Fuente days. Is this the year? Well, they moved him around a bit. He was at Mike, then he was at Will. Now he's back at Mike. He did have 83 tackles last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was our leading tackler, and that's the most anyone's had of tackles since Dax back in 2021. So, like, he was putting himself in the right spots to make plays. I know people don't like Jaden Keller because we've been hearing about him for so long, and he's made some bad plays, but I still think he saved us that BC game.
Yeah.
And he has gotten better. He has, and
he had more good games last year. Like he had 2 or 3 just phenomenal. The Georgia Tech game, he was all over the place. Like he looked great in that game. I like the combo of him and Caleb Woodson. I just don't know what we're going to get schematically out of these linebackers. I don't know what we're going to get depth-wise because they immediately went to the portal to get guys to fill depth. And to me, that's kind of a bad sign.
It's not the best sign, but if you are looking at Keller and Woodson and you feel good, it could just simply be like, we need some backups here.
Yeah, like in the spring, like they had Caleb Spencer moving from like a nickel star, like had him moving to Mike. He's not a Mike linebacker. I don't know where he's going to play. We haven't heard a lot about him.
We haven't heard much about him. You're right.
There was behind Caleb Woodson and Jaden Keller, I think is like literally just get a body in there.
It's short somebody. Though. Pry has been high on short.
He has been high. Michael Short. Well,
yes.
Caveat: Michael Short is a person, not like short. Yes.
Michael Short from UNC transferred over after the spring, and they've been loving what he's been doing on the field. Like Price said, like he has a bright future. He's going to play a lot of snaps. So we will see Michael Short, and I imagine he's the backup Mike. Like that's who will step in at backup Mike. And then we need to harp on Woodson for a second here because he's 6'3", 230. He started to really come on at the end of last year, 20 tackles in the last 3 games of the season. He had 10 against Rutgers too. Like some of those games, I said to somebody, like he was making plays in spite of the scheme.
The poor dude was running 20 yards before the snap because Marv had them lined up so out of position.
Yes, exactly.
And they were so easy to scheme up against. Like he was not put in a position to succeed last year. If he is this year, he's a vintage Virginia Tech linebacker.
I agree. I mean, this is one of the highest upside linebackers we've had in a long time.
I'll say this. He has the most all ACC, like first team all ACC potential of anybody on this team.
Because yes, exactly. He's got the size, he's got the speed to be effective in the run and the pass, and his lateral quickness is really, really good. Mm-hmm. And so in a better defensive scheme, I can only imagine what he could do. He had 72 tackles with a shitty Chris Marv defense and not even really playing full starter the whole time. Like he wasn't, now we're expecting him to be like one of the guys. He wasn't really expected to be one of the guys last year.
Yeah, he really did come on. He forced himself into that position by his play. He wasn't
Mhm.
anointed that as a recruit or as a transfer. And I think, you know, he's the kind of guy who you need to build your entire defense. Like, all right, he's our stalwart there at linebacker, and then we build everything else around him. That's the
He's
guy.
that good. He had
Mhm.
7.5 tackles for loss last year, which is a really nice number coming out of a linebacker. Like
I mean, it
that's really
was
good.
Pete. We were laughing in the press box of the Minnesota game because the poor kid was running, like sprinting full speed from where they had him lining up to where he needed to cover once the ball was snapped because he was so out of position. Like against all odds, he had a good year last year. It was, I mean,
Exactly. Yeah, I know.
he's
He's going to be good.
absolute dog.
So the depth is a question. Michael Short, we've already talked about. Caleb Spencer played in all 13 games last year, has a ton of ability, very high recruit.
Had some pop last year
He had
for
5
sure.
TFLs himself. Like
Mhm.
he made some plays, 2 pass breakups, 2 hurries, an interception, a forced fumble. And then you got Santiago Balance. I do like George Balance as a depth piece. I
Mhm.
think he can step in and give you some snaps. Gabe Williams coming back from that injury. There's no star position anymore, too, which we need to at least say. I don't exactly know where a Gabe Williams will fit in down the line because he was playing star and now we're really just moving to playing nickel all the time. So
Mhm.
where will he find a place? But Noah Chambers is a guy we should mention too because he's a
Yes.
true freshman, or yeah, a true freshman
Mhm.
who came in looking chiseled and is ready
Yeah.
to contribute right away as well.
I think they feel good about the future of this defense. And one thing about bringing in all of those veterans in the defensive back room is you allow guys to kind of learn from them and
Mhm.
work behind them and learn this system so that they're ready to go when they need to go. So I feel pretty good about the future of this defense. My overall like projection for this Virginia Tech defense this year is funny enough, advanced metrics wise, they weren't bad last year. Like they
I
were
know.
30th to 40th in a lot of things. Um, Something that a fun stat is like havoc percentage, which is like, TFLs, sacks, forced fumbles, interceptions, like doing beamer ball defense, right? Classic lunch pail. Tech was actually 37th in that last year.
It's
Only
because of
once,
the sack numbers
yeah,
were outrageous.
only
We were
one,
17th in sacks.
only one spot behind South Carolina, which is
Really?
interesting. Yeah, South Carolina was 36th. So I think this team, like Brent Pry and the identity he brings to defense, I think is really, really good. They got out schemed in a couple of matchups last year. They got out schemed against Vanderbilt, against Syracuse, probably leaving some out there, but
Duke?
like Duke, I mean, Duke was a different issues
Yeah,
against
you're
Duke,
right.
but
You're
like
right.
I,
Rutgers.
I, Rutgers was the other one. So I think the attitude of this defense is where it needs to be. Like that's not an issue for me. I think personnel they're pretty good. I just the scheme is a big question mark,
It
and
is.
I have to figure it
So
out.
last but not least, to link in with those sacks is the defensive line, and they were great last year. I mean, APR had an awesome year sacking the quarterback. Peebles was sensational on the inside, a tactician. But those guys are gone along with Fuga and Penne. Penne was actually second on the team in sacks, which people probably don't realize.
Yeah.
But he was a nice piece for us, and Cole Nelson. So this is you, Sam. So who's going to be our starters across the line?
So I think you have under two defensive ends are James Joncom, the transfer from Eastern Michigan by way of Arizona State, by way of the state of Virginia. And then on the other side, you're going to have Ben Bell, transfer from Texas State. Both of those guys, I think, have the ability to play hand in the ground also as a stand-up edge player. Those think a little bit more like TJ Watt for the Steelers type guy. So I think that's really, really good for this team to have some versatility on the edge. And those two guys, veterans, a lot of production. I really like those guys. I think Joncom could be a sensational player. And then in the middle, the defensive tackle positions, Kelvin Gilliam and Kamari Copeland, big dudes. The heir apparents to Ricky Walker and Tim Settle is what I'm hoping for. They just got to clog up some space, man, because
Yeah.
Virginia Tech defensive tackles, Aeneas Peebles is really, really talented, but clogging up space wasn't his forte as a defensive tackle. He was much more of a finesse DT.
A whirling dervish.
Yeah, I mean, he was awesome, but like Tech didn't have the guy to like take on two blockers and push him back a couple yards. They need that this year. And then behind those guys in the two deep drink, Keyshawn Burgos is a guy who has all of the athleticism and length in the world. Asen Stevens, moving him from linebacker to D end, he was pretty productive when he did get in last year at defensive end. And then you kind of have this cluster of, well, I shouldn't say cluster, but you have this grouping of players at defensive tackle behind those top two. Emmett Law is a guy who they've really liked since he was a high school recruit. Heisman, who they brought in from North Dakota State. We got to see him in front of the media as well. They really like how he's coming on as a veteran. And Hickman and Nash are two guys that they brought in as transfers. So they feel like they have a little bit of depth, a little bit more size than they had last year at defensive tackle. I think you're going to see a lot of rotation. That's one of the position groups where you rotate during the drive and you rotate a lot of players. You need 6 defensive tackles. I think Tech should feel pretty good on the defensive line.
I'll put 3 points and then a bow on this. Copeland back from injury. JC Price is ecstatic about this guy. He said he can be a dominant player. So that is exciting to see. Gilliam taking on the leadership role is awesome. And that point on their production about Ben Bell and Jonkum at their previous stops, they produced at a high level. Bell on the defensive end spot, and then Jonkum was playing linebacker, but has all the tools to be a very good defensive end edge type of guy.
He's just a football player.
Yeah. And so this is coming down to me putting my faith in JC Price, who's taken transfers the last couple of years and gotten them into the draft. This is what he has done. That's just a fact. And so I'm expecting 35 to 40 sacks. That's what we've got in the last 2 years. I'm expecting it. That's not even a hot take. That's just what
that's not in your hot take. 40 sacks is not in your hot take.
And I think it should be an even more with Sam Seifkis calling the shots. And maybe I'm thinking too much about Mega Mind Sam Seifkis, but like I just feel like the defense will be better prepared, better aligned, better game planning, all of it.
Yeah, especially in those late game scenarios. Like that's what it comes down to. This team was really good for 55 out of the 60 minutes of a game last year.
So that would be my, like, if we're just last overall thought on the defense, well, until we move to special teams and predictions. Even if the talent is down a little bit on the whole, because we lost guys to the NFL, we lost guys in the transfer portal, the talent is probably slightly down. But if the guys have developed under the new staff and have a better scheme, you can cancel that out. And,
less
it
weak
could
links.
Be better overall.
Yeah, less weak links. I think more consistency. I think Tech had a lot of players last year who, when it was winning time, when it was late in the fourth quarter, and like they weren't going to be the guys who made a play.
Yep.
You had a lot of those guys on the field last year. I think this team, if they can find that consistency for 60 minutes, might be a better defense than you saw last year.
Top 35 SP plus is my slightly optimistic goal. Top 35 defense SP plus. We were that 2 years ago.
Let me see where we're finished. Adjusted EPA per play last year, Tech finished at 27th.
Okay, so
if they just don't do the fourth quarter thing, they'd be great.
They would be top 20.
I'm telling you.
All right, special teams. Kicker, John Love. Let's talk about him first. Made 16 of 18 field goal attempts, 88.8 success rate, 15th in the country, 5 of 5 from 40 to 49. He hit what was a career long against Miami, 57. Then he hit a 60-yarder in the bowl game, Sam.
You got to let him kick. A couple times last year, Brent Pry didn't let him kick when he needed to. You got to let this dude kick.
Yeah. It could be a weapon. It really could be a weapon.
Yep.
We don't have Peter Moore any longer, so Nick Velcistas, I'm not exactly sure there, but I have confidence in our punter because we usually punt well.
I mean, there's like 40,000 kids who go to Virginia Tech. One of them's got to be able to kick a football. So, Nick, congratulations. I hope we don't see you a lot on Saturdays.
Yeah,
I mean that in the nicest way possible.
At punt returner, it's going to be Holloway. 2 years ago, this guy was 8th nationally in punt return average. All-American type ability. All-American. I'm being dead serious.
He's going to return a punt for a touchdown against ODU.
Book it.
Yep, book it.
Hot take, book it. Kick return, it's kind of a mixture. We got PJ Prelude, we got Thomas Williams, we got Tyler Mason, we got Cam Selden. I liked what I saw from Thomas Williams in that role last year.
I did too.
I wouldn't mind seeing him do that.
I wouldn't mind seeing them take a knee every time also, to be honest with you. I mean, just get the ball at the 25 and move on.
All right. 2025 prediction, Sam. It is time.
Oh, God. Okay.
Our toughest games, South Carolina, Miami, Louisville, GT. I don't have a definitive opinion on like a sure loss. I don't think any of them are sure losses. Sometimes you look at a schedule, you're like, yeah, we're fucked.
No shot. Yeah.
But GT, I think, is the most likely loss at Bobby Dodd.
I've gone
opinion?
back and forth on that because I'm not as high on Georgia Tech as other people are. I could very well be proven wrong. I also am not convinced that Haynes King will be 100% by that time in the year. And so
that would be helpful.
I'm playing Georgia Tech on a week by week basis. I'll put it that way. I think South Carolina is as close to a that's probably not going to happen game as you have on this schedule, because getting Louisville and Miami at home in November like changes things.
Yeah. All right. It is time for record predictions.
Do I go first?
Do we need to rock, paper, scissors? Or do you just want to go?
I'll just go. Last time we did the conference thing, I said I felt 8-4. I'm back down to where I've been since the spring, and I'm at 7-5.
You went down. What kind of brought? Are you trying to like hedge against the optimism?
I think 8-4 was really, really optimistic. I think this team. I am not sold on the offensive line yet. I need to see the offensive line, and I'm not sold on the defensive backs. I think there are some games this year where we could see the opposing quarterback throw for some yards if we don't see the scheme overtake. I 7-5.
Okay,
7-5. I think they drop. I don't feel as good about NC State as I used to.
All right. Well, that would. We're talking about one game here, and if that changes, so I guess I got to put this on if we're both going. No, that's not true. I'm staying 8-4.
You're staying 8-4.
I'm staying 8-4.
Stay with it.
And the reason why is because at a minimum in that first game of the season, first two games, those SEC games, they stick out like a sore thumb. We haven't talked about them much tonight, but we've talked about them a ton already this summer. We need to go 1-1 in those games. We need to. And I think one win is the minimum for that we will accomplish. That's my prediction. I think one win is a minimum. So if you come out of that 1-1, and then you win your next two against ODU and Wofford, which you should win, you're 3-1 going into the ACC slate. We can go 5-3 in the ACC. We absolutely can against this schedule. Even if you lose all the hard ones, GT, Louisville, Miami, you're 5-3. So I feel good about 8-4. I'm praying to the football gods that maybe they shine a light on us for the first time in a long time, and we could start this year 2-0 against the SEC. Because what could you even imagine that, Sam?
I mean, that would be college football. A lot of times the funniest outcome is usually what happens. Like Indiana taking a playoff spot from Alabama. But Virginia Tech going 2-0.
Ridiculous.
Virginia Tech going 2-0 against the SEC the year after they were supposed to be an ACC title contender would be absolutely hilarious. That's a lot of times how college football works.
And we need to finish games in order for that to happen. There's been a huge focus on that. The situational football, the bringing in veteran voices from the NFL that know about that kind of stuff. The focus on working out so we can finish these damn games. The focus on brotherhood. So when you bring in 30 transfers, the guys know each other. Like I feel like they've done everything right. And I think it warrants an 8-4 prediction. Do I want it to be 9-3 like I predicted last year? Yes. That didn't work out for me. I've been pretty good on the predictions up until last season. And we were damn close to winning 7, 8, 9 games. Damn close. And so I feel good about 8-4. Be more consistent game to game. Finish games strong, and you can go 8-4 in the season.
I'm much closer to 8 than I am 7. But
okay,
I'll take if that makes I want to say 8-4. I'm hedging my bets because I don't trust the close game, and I think you have probably 5 6 games that I'm looking at on this schedule that I can't imagine a spread being more than like 5.5. So
There's going to be a lot of tight spreads.
So I'm going 7-5 with 1 game increase, and you feel good. I think 8-4 is certainly a positive. I think 8-4 more likely than 6-6.
Oh, I love that. That's
8-4.
Is that a hot take? Should I start it? Should I make the 2D like blink?
The hot take. Well, I have some hot takes. Maybe that'll be my hot take. I mean, it's not really a hot take to say something is more likely, but my hot takes, my 3 hot takes that I had for the season.
All right, go for it.
They get progressively more hot. 1, Kyren gets drafted.
Oh, okay. Well, and that's what we were hoping for last year.
Tools, athleticism, potential. That's the kind of guy the NFL is starting to go after. I think Kyren Jones gets drafted. Number 2, Brent Pry and Tony Elliott both keep their jobs.
Okay, that's a hot one. that is a hot one. I'm not talking about Pry. I'm talking about Elliott, really. But
I think Elliott goes 6-6. I think he can manage 6-6. That's my vibe. And then number 3, Virginia Tech wins 2 games versus the top 25. I think you have games against South Carolina, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Miami, and then whoever you play in a bowl game. Those 5, you could have 5 potential top 25. If you are an 8-4 team, you're probably going to play a top 25 team in a bowl. If you count that, you count that. But I think they get 2 wins versus the top 25. That's my vibe.
My hot take, as the 2 deep is blinking in the background and we are zoomed in, is that I'm not predicting a win or a loss in South Carolina right now at this moment. We have a next week to get to still, Sam. But I am predicting that Kyren Jones outplays Lenore Sellers in Atlanta.
All right. How are we measuring that? Are we just saying he just outdogs him?
Can we eye test it, or do we need to use QBR?
Let's eye test it.
I think it'll be pretty clear. Like usually you can tell. Now, if it's very even, we'll go by QBR. How about that?
Okay. Got it.
All right.
I love that. Let's go.
That was fun.
I think Tech's going to play well in Atlanta. I don't know if they win, but I think they play well.
I'm still flashing over here. Let's see if I can get it to stop. All right. So finally, week 0 picks, Sam. We're done with Virginia Tech for right now. We've done our season preview. Week 0 is upon us. We're going to be in New York in just a couple days. Pig and whistle. Iowa State against K-State in Ireland. K-State 3-point favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have K-State money line, and I also have under 50.
K-State money line. You're not laying.
I'm not laying the points in a rivalry game that I think will be lower scoring. The last 2 Ireland games have gone under by a significant amount. The only Ireland game that has gone over was Nebraska Northwestern, and that's because Scott Frost decided to do an onside kick randomly during the game that Northwestern scored a touchdown off of. So I am going to go with the under of 50. That's my main bet, and then K-State money line. Sprinkle there.
I like that under call. I don't play a lot of over-unders, but I do like that under call in Ireland. I'm going with the Cyclones. I'm going to take those points. Not a money line play. I'm taking the points. I think this could be a defensive struggle. We could see a 17-15. We could see something weird at 13-11. You don't know. And so I'm going to go with Iowa State in the points. And if they win, could be a big year for those Cyclones. I think they've got some pieces.
Yep.
All right, Fresno at Kansas. Kansas is opening the new stadium, right?
Well, half of it. They haven't shown the side that they haven't redone.
Okay.
But they just got like a $40 kajillion donation from the guy who already named the stadium after him. So they're going to finish it. It's a pretty stadium. They're playing Fresno State, who has a lot of new pieces, a lot of new coaches, a lot of new there in the Valley, as they call it. I'm going to roll with Kansas.
You'd lay in 12.5?
I'd lay 12.5. I would maybe even think about bumping it to 13.5, getting a little extra juice.
Damn, that's really disrespectful to like Fresno's history.
Is Fresno's history lining up and playing football, or is it Fresno State in 2025? Because I don't know about that team this year.
Oh, I know. I'm actually going to roll with you. I just wanted kind of to bust your balls.
Great program.
They have been a good program in historically, but I will go with Kansas. Opening night for that stadium, like they got to win by 2 touchdowns. All right, Sam Houston at Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky, 10.5 point favorites. Sam Houston, new coach Longo? Is Longo the coach there now?
I think so. Yeah. I would roll with Western Kentucky in this one. I think they're gonna throw the ball a bunch. They're gonna score a bunch of points. They're gonna be a fun team to watch.
Yeah,
I don't think they're any
I'm
good
gonna
on
lay that
defense
too.
though. So watch out for that.
And then finally, Stanford at Hawaii. Hawaii favorites over the power team,
Dude,
2.5.
I think you take it with the Warriors, 2.5. I think Stanford's mentality is not going to be there week one. Hawaii has a lot of, they're keeping a lot of guys from last year. They've had a lot of momentum. They know what they are. They know their scheme. Stanford's a cluster. Now they have to travel to the islands to play in that game in week 0. I don't know about that one. I think Hawaii can win this game.
It's a hop, skip, and a jump from Stanford. That's not a long flight. Frank Reich at ACC Media Days, I liked what he had to say. I'm not saying
he's a great coach.
I don't think Stanford's going to have a great year, but he was the offensive coordinator when Philly won their first Super Bowl with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. Nick Foles being the quarterback that played in the game. I love Frank Reich, so I'm going to pick Stanford to win that game and give the ACC a little bit of G5 win that first weekend.
Hawaii almost beat UCLA at home in this similar situation last year. It's a tough
It's
spot.
not going to be easy, and I don't feel great about it, but I just want to take Stanford here.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I think I'm going to feel real silly if I didn't take plus money on a power conference team playing Hawaii.
I just think when you look at week one for me has always been the hardest week to pick. And maybe that is that way for everyone, but for me in particular, so many things surprise me in week one that I tend to pick more dogs, because if there's any question in my mind at all, just take the points and see what happens.
That's very fair. That's very fair.
All right, that's going to do it for this show. We've been having some long shows. They will get shorter, I promise, but the season preview is typically a long one. Thank you for staying till the end if you made it. If you did make it, what should be our safe word, Sam? I'm trying to think here.
Fireworks. We have fireworks in the background of our
that's
YouTube.
Right. Fireworks. Let's go with that. I love lamp. So make sure you're subscribed to Too Deep on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to the Sons of Saturday channel on YouTube. We've been gaining a lot of listeners and watchers on YouTube. It's been a really fun summer, and I can't wait. Next week, we'll be doing College Football Monday. We'll be doing our South Carolina preview to piggyback on the preview we did over the summer. Might have some guests for that. I'm going to be seeing Sam in 2 days, less than 48 hours. So
let's go, dude. It's football season.
All right. And until next time, go Hokies.
Go Hokies.